I used to work the graveyard shift in a very small supermarket downtown. Usually there were 2 members of staff plus a security guard, but on this particular night, my colleague phoned in sick, and looking back, I wish I had done the same. It had been a normal day's work so far. The store closed at midnight, and it was now 11:30, when a very strange man walked into the store. He walked past the security guard. He looked kind of odd and sort of homeless. He walked past the checkout and began slowly walking down the aisles. As the man walked down the aisles, I could hear him talking to himself and occasionally laughing. It also sounded like he was knocking things off the shelves onto the floor. I began feeling very nervous. I just wanted the guy to pay and get out. Eventually he came up to the till and slammed his items onto the counter. I rang them up and told him how much it was. He just stared blankly back at me. I said, "Sorry sir," and repeated the price back to him. He just kept staring. "I'm not paying you anything," he said. I didn't know what to say. And then he said, "If you know what's good for you, you'll put these things in the bag and shut your mouth." I gulped with fear. Luckily the security guard came over and asked if everything was okay. The weird guy got a little bit rattled. He put up his middle finger at me and quickly walked out. I was so shaken. I thought I was about to be held up. I thought that was bad enough, but my night only got worse from here. I told the security guard what had happened, and that he should not let the guy back in if he comes back. I went to put the products the guy had picked up back onto the shelves. I was putting a bottle of drink back when I saw something out the side of my eye. I looked round. The weird guy had not actually left the premise at all. He was stood outside the store staring in at me. Our eyes met, and then he slowly put his hands up to his throat and made a choke sign, looking me right in the eye. I quickly walked away and went back to my till. I was on the verge of phoning the police, but I thought as we were closing, there was no need. Midnight came. I checked outside, and the man had gone. I felt very relieved. I was going to close up and get home as quickly as I could. We began closing up. The way it worked was there were 2 doors. One was locked from the outside and one from the inside. The security guard locked the outside door. He put the key in his pocket and said goodnight through the window. I locked the inside door and put the key away. I was now on my own in the supermarket and was about to head off to the staff entrance on the other side of the store. Suddenly, I heard a noise inside the supermarket. Something had fallen off one of the shelves. I could feel beads of sweat coming down from my forehead. It is impossible that someone had gotten into the supermarket during close-up, I thought to myself. I began thinking it was an item that I had not put back properly, and then the lights went out. It was now pitch black. The only light switches were by the staff entrance. Someone was in here with me. The man must have got past us somehow, and I was now locked in with him, with no light whatsoever. I wanted to curl up into a ball, but I had to try and get out of there, for my own safety. I began slowly walking through the pitch black supermarket. I could hear little noises echoing around me. "Hello?" I said. No answer. I walked down the main aisle that led to the staff exit. "Hello, hello, hello." Someone was copying me, saying hello back. I couldn't see where it came from. I was frozen in fear. "Hello." I kept walking forward. Now I could hear the man breathing. I knew he was close to me, but I couldn't see him. I could see the staff area from where I was. I then saw my chance to escape. Luckily I'd left the key in the staff door. I ran over to it as fast as I could, opened the door, and quickly took out the key and closed it behind me. Whoever it was now trapped inside the supermarket. I got out of the area as fast as I could. I phoned the police. They went to the store. The man had smashed a window from inside and escaped. I never worked a night shift ever again after that night. I had been working late nights in a petrol station for a few years now. It was an antisocial job, but the pay was quite good. One night, during a relatively quiet night, I was working by myself locked inside the service station. I had been sat down reading a paper when I saw a strange figure standing in the middle of the car park outside. He had his hood up and was not even buying gas. He was just stood there looking at me, in my direction. He had his hands in his pockets and I could not see his face properly. He didn't move for a good few minutes. I didn't understand what he was doing or why he was doing it. Then suddenly he started walking aggressively up towards my window. "Let me in," he said. "Hi sir, it's 2 a.m. After midnight I serve through this window here." "Let me in now," he said. "I cannot, sir," I said. "I will happily get you anything you need." "I want an ice cream," he said. "Okay sir, which ice cream would you like?" I didn't hear any reply. As I turned around, he had gone. Disappeared without a trace. Half an hour went past. I thought that would be the end of it, but sadly it was just the beginning. There had been no customers. I was starting to breathe normally again, and was about to go back to my newspaper, when I saw him again. He was running towards the service station now, and he had something in his hand. I panicked and ducked down behind the service window. Nothing happened for a good minute, and then the man tried opening the door, and then began knocking on the glass. The knocking eventually stopped. A few minutes went by. I had not heard anything. I slowly got up and looked out into the car park. There was nobody there, or at least I couldn't see anyone. Then suddenly out of nowhere, the man popped up his head from underneath the window. He had a sickening angry look on his face. I could see what he had in his hand now. It was a gas lighter. "You think you're clever hiding from me, don't you?" he said. No, sir," I said, quivering with fear. "Give me some ice cream, or I'll start burning things out here, yeah?" I was shaking so bad that I could hardly walk. I went over to where the ice cream was. "What ice cream would you like, sir?" "Ice cream!" he screamed. I began taking out one of each ice cream and putting them into a basket. I turned around and walked back to the counter. I was so worried that he would not be happy with any of the ice creams we had. When I got back to the counter window, the man had completely vanished. I never saw him again. It was one of the most bizarre things that ever happened to me at work. I had been working for the past 5 years as a delivery driver. I used to deliver all sorts of things like furniture and fittings. My last delivery would always be around 11 p.m. Nothing had ever gone wrong, but that all changed on this night. I finished my last delivery and went back to the company warehouse. It was always very quiet at night. I went in and left my keys in the office. I had a bit of a strange feeling walking out into the car park. It was empty and pitch black. That was very usual. What felt very strange is, I got the feeling that someone else was in the car park with me, hiding in the shadows. I walked quickly towards my car. My car was a few hundred yards away, but it felt like a few hundred miles. I stopped as I heard movement coming from nearby. I turned around. There was nothing. I continued walking quickly towards my car. I opened my car door. I took off my jacket and threw it into the back seat. As I did, I felt a very strong arm come from behind my head and over my neck. I was now in a headlock. "Give me your wallet and phone," the voice said. I tried pointing to my jacket, but he didn't understand. He started choking me harder. I felt as though I was going to die. I pointed again at my jacket. He must have finally got it, as he pushed me over and punched me in the back of my head. He opened the back door, grabbed my jacket, emptied the pockets, and ran off into the night. I quit working night shifts after that. I always feared that there could be something there again, lurking in the shadows.